very well and to have some intercultural competencies, because your mission in US is not only teaching Arabic but promoting and introducing the Moroccan culture and the Arabic culture in general. So I've been here for 4 months since August, and once I was selected to teach in US, I got the nomination I got nominated in Texas. So I had to go to Texas and to start teaching in August, and there are a lot of things to say. I will pass the floor to my colleagues and to my friends. Thank you.
Thank you, lovely.
Okay.
And thank you everybody for coming. It's lovely seeing faces that for maybe even 2 years I had only known online. So thank you once again. I am Mohanad Hassan. I'm from Libya. I came only just yesterday, and I'm an alumni of the Stevens Initiative, and the virtual exchange program that I was a part of is the Global Social Entrepreneurship Journey, quite a mouthful, and I applied for it in 2021. It was presented by Culturingua, and it was almost like it was with the Edison High School, where Satlari used to study, and my high school. So it was almost like a school program, and my school actually motivated me to apply for it. And we did apply, and Satlari was part of my team, and we ended up winning amongst the teams that were with us. And so that exchange program, we finished it. I sort of forgot about it up until Nader in late 2022. He messaged me saying that there's an opportunity called the Stevens Initiative Alumni Fellowship, and that I should probably apply because it's a great opportunity. And I didn't really think much about it back then, but I did apply, and I got accepted, and now I'm here. So the rest is history. Thank you.
I just want to clarify, Nader is basically a member of the cultural organization.
I think you're the chief.
Chief of Readiness.
Chief?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the person who got me here. Yeah. So thanks to Ned. Thanks to Ned, actually, yeah. Thanks to you.
You were selected, yeah. Congratulations.
So as Mohanad has already kind of explained for both of us, I met him first during Culturingua, and I also joined kind of because I was kind of told by different teachers that I should join this youth program, and it was like a really cool opportunity to meet new people, and so I applied, or I joined the program, and I met him, and I was really excited. I really enjoyed like Culturingua and like talking to everyone. I think we made like some really like cool connections with each other, and then similarly to when Nadia reached out, and she told me about the Stevens Initiative, and she like really urged me to apply with him, and so we applied together, and then we went to Jordan together. So that was really crazy. It was like a full circle moment for, at least for me. It's like I got to meet him like from a screen to like in person, and now he's here in San Antonio. It's really
Awesome. Let's get started with some questions now.
To preface the questions, we're going to watch a short video first.
So just like Sitali had mentioned that they were talking through a screen, we have these short clips that are going to show the conversations between the both of them, just so you guys have an idea of what it was like prior to meeting.
And to clarify, this is before they met virtually synchronously. So this was the asynchronous exchange that they had before their first synchronous virtual exchange.
Tell us what you were saying.
I just said that I forgot this video actually existed. Like it brings back so much memories.
That's
You,
good.
you were young in this.
Yeah, I was really young.
Yeah.
I look young.
Before traveling to US.
Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Okay. So we're gonna figure this out, but for now, we'll just get started with the questions.
My first question is for Zitali and Mohammed. How did your relationship from the virtual exchange prepare you to meet each other in person, and what was it like meeting for the first time in person?
Okay. So back then, during our cultural exchange program, me and Study, we shared a bit of common ground. I was kind of into Spanish, and so we kind of got along. We were also on the same team. We ended up winning, and so there was a bit of common ground between us way before we applied to the STEAMers initiative. And so once we did apply as partners, once we got to know each other more and more, we didn't really begin from zero. We kind of had a basis to build our friendship upon. And so this all led up to us meeting in person in Jordan. And so instead of meeting in person for the first time, it's kind of awkward and all that, we kind of just got along instantaneously. So it just clicked. So the virtual exchange 2 years back really led up to the moment of meeting each other in Jordan, and it was great, to say the least.
Yeah, I think already having like that familiarity with each other, like since I already knew him from Trinidad, like getting close to meeting him. Like I remember a conversation that we had where you said like,
Hi, my name is.
I'm a tall, like how you were saying you were so tall, and like I couldn't believe it, and I was like, I don't think you're tall, like I think you're messing with me, and like I think like having those kind of conversations of like those fun like conversations kind of made like in person, like meeting in person, I was like, oh, and it was like a lot more like unexpected, but also it was like, wait, no, I know him, like yeah, like I've met him before, I've talked to him before, like so it made it easier to connect.
So here's a look about the questions or the conversations they would have before meeting.
My name is Mohammed bin Hassan. I'm 17 years old and I study at the Gifted Center of Benghazi. And my hobbies and passions are robotics, beatboxing, and calligraphy, and sometimes drawing. And beautiful thing about Libya is even though it's war torn currently, even though the people aren't as easygoing, they are very kind and they will respect you and they will welcome you with open arms. And the question I project to you, San Antonio students, is what do you guys like eating? I've heard of burgers, I've heard of steaks and the usual stuff, but other than that, do you guys have a special meal, something to do with heritage, maybe? Hi, my name is Mohammed bin Hassan.
And then we have Zitali's response.
Hi, so my name is Iklali Torres, and so in response to your question, typically something that we eat around here is barbacoa, usually on Sundays. Sundays, usually after like coming from church or family hangs out and you eat barbacoa together. And barbacoa is typically like slow cooked, either beef or sometimes it's goat. And it's been slow cooked and it's been cooked with a lot of spices. It's really delicious. And you eat it with like a tortilla and you put some like toppings like pico de gallo or salsa on top. Yeah. And one of my questions for you all is, what are some things that typical, like how do you spend a typical weekend in Libya?
And now a question for Larbi.
Okay, welcome.
How did you first hear about the opportunity to come teach in the US?
Well, as I told before, thank you for maybe I have to tell it again. So I heard about it on Facebook because yes, Facebook actually, because the notes which are addressed to our school from the Ministry of Education in Morocco, I usually skip them. I say I don't need to read that. So once I saw on Facebook that TCLP is celebrating the TCLP teachers. I said, what is this TCLP? So I started reading about it on Facebook. Then I gathered a lot of information, and I looked on my rights and told my wife, you gotta read this. And she read it, and she looked at me and she said, you have to go. So I applied, and she supported me. Yes, she supported me a lot. At the beginning, she supported me. That at some point I got a little bit suspicious. I said to her, "You want to get rid of me by sending me to US? What's this?" But it was good. So I checked. Once I found it on Facebook, I referred to the note at the administration. But at the administration, it seemed that they hadn't yet received the note. So I had to call the program officer in Morocco, Mrs. Ahlam, and I really owe her much because she was very approachable. Because she was at in Rabat at the headquarters of Masesi, and once I called her, I told her I am a teacher and I want to apply. I'd like to know if there is a deadline, and she told me there are only 2 days left. So 2 days you have to fill the report of your supervisor, you have to complete the form at the administration, at the district, and send it. And it seems quite impossible because there was a rush of time. 2 days in Morocco is too. And again, with the help of my wife, she did all the stuff, almost all the stuff. We drove kilometers to post the letter and then to stamp it, and then at the last minute. So that's part of the story, how I applied and how I found out about TCLP.
So my next question is for Lati again, but it could also be for Muhammad. So when you first arrived in the U.S., what did you do?
I give the floor to Muhammad.
Wait, what did you?
So the question is, when you first arrived in the U.S., like what was your initial thoughts?
Yeah, what was my initial thoughts? So I arrived yesterday at 5 a.m. Washington first. I got through U.S. Customs, and then I was at the airport. I missed my flight, and I was sort of not exactly taken aback, but I got to see it in person. So Americans can be open, like they can be open to a point where you just don't expect it. Because I'm used to, like in Arabic, I guess, culture, or the Arab culture, people can be approachable, but they also can be, like, they have extent of being nice, but Americans are just nice all the way out. Okay, that's what I saw, and that's what I think is true. So they actually helped me to an extent, and instead of Washington, San Antonio, I went to Washington, Denver, San Antonio. I got here at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. and Sitlali picked me up from the airport. I got to see the city. It was raining. It was really big, and it was almost like I knew what America would look like, but at the same time not. It was different seeing it in person. And I'm pretty sure I would gain more insight because I've only been here for a day. I'll be here for about 20 more days, but between different cities and states. So up until now, what do I think of the US? It's great. It's amazing.
Yes, keep saying that since you are in Texas. Yeah, it's not the same for me. For me, as I told you before, I was selected. Then at some point, it was a long process and it was very competitive. And one day it was Ramadan, Ramadan month. so once I took my soup at 6 p.m., I checked Gmail, I found the nomination. The nomination was extremely surprising to me. As I said to you, to the journalists of our district, it was very surprising. I found out that I am nominated in Texas. And I didn't choose Texas, but Texas chose me, and it was part of my dream since I was 17. Because in the 80s in Morocco, we used to have only 2 channels. And one is Moroccan and the second one is Algerian. We don't have many channels, and we used to watch cowboy films. And we had a certain vision we grasped from media. Well, Texas, I'm going to Clint Eastwood and to the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's a desert. That is a desert. Now, what I had to do is to check YouTube Texas and San Antonio. I saw that there were some green spaces on YouTube, like the river walk, the National Bridge, caverns, and a lot of trees. But I didn't believe it, because the image of media was fossilized. So what I did, once I arrived, I said, one of the things I'm going to see in Texas is the big car, the F-150, the big car. That was true. I found that it's true. And other things, I said, I'm going to see people on horses. But I haven't seen horses, I have just seen dogs everywhere. Everybody has a dog. Everybody has a dog. That's good. And once I got, to Washington, we had an orientation in Washington. 10 days with the TCLP, and they told us, okay, this is the Western culture, this is the US culture. You have to be careful, you have to keep distance, They loaded me. And I said, okay, But once I arrived to San Antonio, people are very hospitable and very approachable, friendly, and not like any other state. I've been to other states like Chicago, Philadelphia, Vegas, Florida, but Texas is unique. You can say that Texas, it's true that it's one of the largest states, but I believe these 4 months, I believe that Texas is unique, and it won my heart. I love it. Wherever I go, I return to San Antonio. I say, I be in San Antonio. I no more need to travel away. San Antonio is a good place to be. Yeah.
And have you faced any challenges adjusting to life in San Antonio?
That's pretty sure, because the first challenge was the weather. Oh my God. So that was in August. You remember, Isam, when you took me to the administration? 110 or 150. People roasting outside. But if you say, the challenge number 1 was the weather. The second was the food. You know, the Mediterranean food. I live on the coast, sea fish and different kind of food. Once I got in Texas, I started the first month eating out. So steak, tacos, but when I ran out of money, I said I have to cook home. That's killing my wallet. So the food, and the third one is the time difference, 7 hours. It was 6 in fact, but recently it has become 7 because there was and the 7 hours, when I finish work at 5 p.m., it's 12 in Morocco. My mother had already slept. My wife was already sleeping, and maybe she's waiting for me. And I get home at 6. I just prepare my food, and once I want to do a FaceTime, it's difficult. And another challenge is everything is English. Road signs, everything is English. Wherever you need to go, you have to get an appointment. Remember the appointment with the hairdresser. It was not the same in my country. You can go to the hairdresser and sit, and if you don't like the hairdresser, okay, bye-bye. But here you need appointment, so you need a calendar. So I never follow the calendar in my country. I was just living like that, like bohemian, very happy life. But now you have to get a car. Many times you call, remember one of you called me and I had to check my calendar and apologize. I am invited. That's some of the challenges. There are no challenges, but it's good. It's good. So I keep saying the best thing in Texas, I didn't have a cultural shock with people or no. People waving and saying hi even though they don't know you in the river. That's very heartwarming. That's good. That's good. And I kept saying hi to everyone. Kept saying hi. Hey, good morning. And when I went to Philadelphia, I had the habit and I say hi. And people say, what? What's the matter with him, this guy? I'm from Texas. So I took the hat. I bought a hat, a cowboy hat. And in Philadelphia, I put it. I am from Texas. That was it.
So moving on to our next question is, how has Culturingua helped you transition to life in San Antonio?
Oh, okay. So Culturingua, my first encounter and meeting with Culturingua was in the airport of San Antonio. They met me there, Mr. Isam, and another member, and the host family. So that was the first thing. I think you have the photo, I sent you the picture. And they helped me on many levels. First was the administrative. Mr. Isam took me to some administrations to form documents, and he helped me to get a good network plan. Thank you for the network plan. It doesn't work anymore.
Doesn't work?
No, it works. The good network, it's cheap, it's very economic, and they also helped me on the social level. They introduced me to some guys from the Middle East, from Palestine, from Jordan, from Syria. I am from Syria. I'm sorry, I am. You're looking at me. I was about to. Okay, and they also showed me places where I can meet other members of the Moroccan community. Like the last time we were invited by Ayhan to a Moroccan restaurant called Golden Meals. It's in San Antonio on Broadway. Is it on Broadway, I think?
No, it's in Wellsburg.
Well, yeah, it's a wonderful restaurant, Moroccan restaurant. And I haven't eaten real Moroccan food for almost three months. And when I went there, I discovered that the food is really, really authentic. Authentic. Golden Meals. And I had to call the manager, Mr. Imam. He was a Moroccan guy. I called him and I told him, who's cooking that? He told me, it's my wife. That's obvious.
They're cooking by themselves.
That is why the cook doesn't look like a cook which is made by someone called a chef, but someone who is Moroccan and his wife. And then one of the things I owe to Culturingua is at the professional level. So at the professional level, I was a co-teacher with Mr. Brooke Freeman of social studies, and I had the chance to participate in the virtual exchange with the Libyan classes in Benghazi. Okay? So that was a nice experience. I had to see how the Libyan students interact with the students in US, and how the US students were very keen and enthusiastic to know about Libyans. And I also teach the 4th and 5th grade. Some of them come and tell me some Arabic expressions, and I thought I am the first Arabic to come to teach on this planet. I am Apollo. I was thinking of myself. No, you're not. I asked them, where did you learn that? They told me that the Culturingua had a summer camp, and they had learned some Arabic expressions. That's good. That's good that's motivating for me. So this is the kind of help I got from Culturingua. I hope they can help me more. I'm greedy.
For Shitlali and Mohammed, what are some new insights that you gained while you were in Jordan?
I think for me it was just like valuing like the connections that we made virtually and um, like bringing them out of like that virtual scene into like real life was to me like very like insightful because I feel like I connected with not just Mohammed but like all the other fellows like on a different level and you know precisely we have like two fellows who are from Morocco as well and so it was like really interesting because we like in the hotel like we would pretty much like every night when we were in Jordan we would like sit around in the lobby and we were just like yeah sorry until like 3 a.m. and we were just like talking and being like okay how do you say this in Arabic and how do you say this in Moroccan Arabic and like all these like different dialects and okay well what is this and like well this is how you say it in Spanish and this is how you would say it in English and it was like really interesting and I think like getting that connection and just as like a like friends like hanging out was very I really loved it and I think that was a really cool dynamic that we had.
I think one of the best things that I gained from Jordan was actually knowing that people you meet online you can actually meet them in person, which is something I never experienced before at all. And also another thing is one of the aspects of the Stevens Alumni Fellowship is you're supposed to implement a project with your partner and you also partner up with other fellows. And so before Jordan, all our planning was online. But once we got together in Jordan, once we started planning face to face, it all just started coming together. And a project that was just pen on paper, like writing on paper, became something real. And we were able to bring in participants. We were able to market our project. And it all became real. And we have one of the participants with us right here. That's Alma. Yeah, she was actually one of the participants in our program. So it's real.
So my next question is for Zitlali. So what was it like to be on the other side and to host your own virtual exchange? And were there any critical takeaways from your experience that helped you along the way?
Well, I think from our visit to Jordan, what I've learned was to be very like just to ask things and so I think when we were planning like I was asking him a lot of like okay well like what are like things that you don't like to eat like what exactly is like halal like what is like your dietary restrictions that can include like things like prayer and trying to learn more about like his like culture but also like his religion and whatnot so that was to me like something that I was like trying to take really big into consideration and I realized it was harder than it like sounded to host but I was trying to also like show him my culture as well and trying to like not just show him I guess like the touristy spots but incorporate like a lot of like my experience and seeing how we can relate and earlier today I think we were like really bonding over that like I took him to the flea market and we were talking about like Mexican like cooking and like culture and we were like also like he was also telling me like oh yeah we have that in Libya or like we have something similar like that in for our singing so it was really it's as much as like me showing him that so I think it's also me learning from him as well.
LRB, can you share a little about the importance of connecting students across cultures?
When you teach language, I believe that you inevitably teach culture and vice versa. Not vice versa, it's interchangeable because if you teach culture within language, you're going to give meaning to the language. So I believe that it's very important to students to learn about cultures because this will help them develop and promote their critical thinking and widen and broaden their knowledge and their vision for life. Because once they know Arabic language, they will start to know things about Arabic people or Middle East people like she said, she started to learn how all things in food and that and this and that. And for my students, because they are 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, usually this semester, the last semester, I focused on food and on traditions. And I can notice that when I start talking about food, students reflect and say some very amazing questions. Why is this and why is not that? When I tell them that this kind of dish in Morocco, they tell me, what does it taste like? I tell them, it's sweet and salty. They tell me, how come that it is sweet and salty? So these questions, they generate more discussion. So sometimes you don't have to stick to Arabic, but you can go to English so as to make the discussion fruitful and with more insight. One of the students, we were talking about the sacred places in the Middle East, and one of the sacred places that they should know about is the mosque. And they tell them that people, when they want to enter the mosque, they take off their shoes. They take off their shoes and they should be clean. And they should not shout, they should not listen to music. They should listen to the preacher, to the imam. And one of the students, I remember, told me, okay, sir, what if I am invited to a Moroccan family? Should I take off my shoes? I heard about that. I told him it's not general. Some houses would ask you to take your shoes, others won't take it. It's not fixed. That is a stereotype. And students really come up with questions about the language. Because when you say culture, you say many things. Culture is an umbrella. It covers politics, it covers language, clothes, anything. Anything can be included in culture. Many things. I mean. So, one of the students told me, why should I learn Arabic language? I told him, it's a language. And there is a lot of data which is written in Arabic and articles. And then he told me, I can find them in English. I told him, okay. Do you know how many people speak Arabic in this planet? He told me how. It's more than 300 million people speak Arabic. They didn't know this number. So I told him, why don't you be one of them? Yeah. Do you know how many languages I speak? And I told him. Do you know why I learned these languages? Because they open many perspectives for me. I read a history in English, then I read the same history in the Arabic version, and they compare. The history I have known about US in my college studies is quite different from the history written in Arabic. Everyone writes the history in his own perspective. That's true. And if you have to learn a language and the culture, you may increase your employability in other countries. So one day you will not stay in US. Maybe you will apply to teach in another country like Dubai or Saudi Arabia or another country. They require you to have certain skills in Arabic, and thus you can improve your or increase the employability and have more jobs. So I believe that it's very important to include culture, not only in teaching languages, but you can include it in geography, you can include it in history, include culture. Why? Because this will help this future citizen to have a broad vision that there is another perspective, another planet, to be a global student, and promote in a way or another kind of mutual understanding. Because if I don't know you, that's not good. I should know you, and I should know your culture. She knows his culture now, most of it, and he knows a lot. That's good. So when you know the culture of the other, that is a way to promote mutual understanding, not only between students, but to some extent between nations. Between nations.
My next question, again, is for Alavi. And how has your experience been teaching Arabic at ALA, and would you say you have a favorite experience?
My experience at ALA is, I don't think that my colleagues elsewhere, whether Chinese or Taiwanese, because this program is not only for Arabic language, it's also for Chinese and Taiwan. And when I meet them and we start talking, I keep saying that the kids, the students in ALA are very polite, respectful, and motivated to learn. Some of them are very funny. They make my day. Sometimes I get very tired because I used to work just 4 hours in my country, 4 hours a day. And when I came here, I have to stay at school from 8 to 4. That's a long way, especially if you don't take your lunchbox with you. You go into summer. So I had to prepare my lunchbox. So one of the kids, one day, I was teaching numbers. And once we get to number 8, it's in Arabic, it's tamania, right? And when I tell him, okay, you, all his friends say tamania, but he says tamale. Wait, Jesse, wait, tamale. And I look at his mates, his classmates, they smile. Okay, I passed to the second number and I forgot about it. The second day I was walking in the school and I said hi to Gloria, an art teacher. She is Mexican. And she told me, come on in. I will show you something. I will share something with you. She took tamale. And I told her, what's that? She told me, it's tamale. Ah, okay. I don't know why he is laughing because it's intentionally, but I like it. That's funny sometimes. And the other guys sometimes with the number 5, Hamza. When he gets to Hamza, he says hamster. Hamster. I don't get angry. I don't get mad at him. I like the way how because that way he will remember Hamza.
Yeah.
I say, okay, it's okay, hamster. Okay. Yes. There are a lot of many cases. There were cases where you feel very proud that you are teaching. When you are walking in the cafeteria and small kids, 6, 7, say Arabic expressions, marhaba, Mr. Lavi, marhaba, you feel proud. Even though you are exhausted and you want to go home. That's something that is very comforting.
Jilali and Muhammad, how was your experience in Jordan impacted you today?
That's a hard question. It has impacted us, and it has built a basis for our relationship right now. Since we met online, then after online we met in Jordan, and now we're in her home city. And so it's just building on this relationship that we formed almost 3 years ago at this point. And also the visit in Jordan was a portal for her to know a bit about my culture, since she wasn't able to visit my country sadly. And so since we visited Jordan and she got to know a bit about my culture, and now I'm in San Antonio, I know a bit about her culture. It's just a lot of bonding that's happened.
Yeah, I think it's made our relationship definitely like more comfortable, and I think it's built upon like I feel like we're constantly kind of sharing things about our day, whether it's like to each other or just like on the chat with all the other fellows. And I think it's definitely like for me motivated me to keep on with virtual exchange and like the importance of it. I think because of like our great friendship, I feel like I can also have more friendships and like understand more people, and it's been really like motivating.
So this question is just for anyone, and it's like what have been your favorite places to travel and why?
Anyone?
Just for anyone.
Okay, so as I told you before, I have had some classes on American history, and we have studied many things in Morocco in the 1999. And this Christmas holiday, I had the opportunity to travel to New Mexico. And on my way, actually I was headed to White Sand. It's a good place. It's a good place. It's a wonderful place. That's good. But what captured me is on the way I found a plantation. And this is the first time I see it. I used to see it on movies. I read a lot about it in the American history. That's a long history. I don't want to talk about it, but when I saw the cotton plantations, I stopped. Pull over and I stopped. Because the cotton plantation for me, it's full of history. I stopped and I went into the cotton plantation and I started looking at those, there was cotton, there was cotton. So it was a moment where I had to bring back some scenes which I have read about or seen. And I almost stayed there for 15 minutes, seeing and exploring those cotton plantations. That's awesome for me. Maybe for somebody else it would look like, oh, those are just cotton. But for me it was the best place. I've been to many other places like Miami, but I would keep saying that seeing cotton plantation, I bet it was on my bucket list, like the waterfalls of Niagara. They are on my bucket list, and I'm going to see them on April. Yeah.
Do these places like can they be anywhere in the world?
Yeah. Just anywhere.
I really liked Petra. So the thing is, in Jordan, we stayed for 6 days. Unlike a few other people in the fellowship, they stayed for 3 days and then they went over to their home communities with their American fellow. Since Dali couldn't visit Libya, we stayed for 6 days in Jordan. And we visited Petra and we stayed there for the night. And the thing I really, really loved about Petra is its history goes way, way back. And also, a few of the rocks, they had inscriptions of Old Arabic. And I'm really, really into calligraphy. And so seeing that, I had hearts in my eyes, like Arabic calligraphy and really old inscriptions, and seeing just the marvelousness of Petra and the way the rocks were just sculpted, it was amazing. It's one of the wonders of the world. So that's one of the list.
For me, I would say one. We would go pretty often to downtown, and just going around was so like nostalgic for me. I haven't been to Mexico in a few years, but being in like Amman was like so reminiscent of like my childhood, and it was just like so many like it was like you were in a mercado in Mexico, and you like people were like talking to you, and they were so friendly, and even when it was like daytime and we would like go through like the neighborhoods, like the houses, a lot of them looked like houses that I feel like I had seen in Mexico, and so to me it was like very like familiar and it felt really welcoming. Also like the host dinner we had, one of the days in Jordan we had a host. We went to a host family for dinner, and they were so welcoming as well, and like for our host family, like they cooked like so much food for us, and they just kept constantly like feeding us more, and even though we couldn't like eat anymore, and that just really like that warm like welcoming, like it was just so like it was just really amazing to experience it, and being like as like in an unfamiliar place, but also it just felt like you knew everyone and it was just really amazing.
For Eladavi,
Yeah.
what were some lessons you learned from the teaching experience in San Antonio?
Teaching, I can say in US because I used to teach in Morocco. So in US, you got to be patient and give more time don't give much input. Okay, focus on just one objective and stick to that objective. This is one. The second thing, you make a lesson plan, you plan activities, and then you head to the classroom like you are somebody like a warrior, like I'm going to make change. Okay, wait, take it easy. You go to the classroom, and then you have to gauge students' readiness to learn. Wait, you cannot stick to the plan, because if you keep sticking to your plan, you will get frustrated. Okay, leave the kids, give them some break, talk about something, make some flexibility, and then genuinely turn them to your objective. In my country, it's different. When you come with a objective, yeah, okay, objective, 5 minutes, instruction, 10 minutes, correction, then feedback, then assessment, then evaluation. No, here it doesn't work like this. You have to feel what your students need, to cater for their needs, and for their learning style. You have different types of students, much different than my country, different kinds. There are some students who do not want to sit in the table like this. So don't get angry. Let him. If he wants to walk into the classroom, let him. It's not the case in my country. Just let him. He cannot sit. So let him have a walk. Maybe he can have his snack or his drink. It's okay. So just to try, I learned to be more patient and flexible. Because the more patient and flexible you are with them, the more they will like your class and they will be comfortable being in your class. Yeah.
So my last question is just to all, or I guess specifically to Lali and Muhammad, and is what is your advice to students who are looking to enter this virtual exchange program?
Go for it. Just outright go for it. You don't know at all where you end up in the end. So I started off, I actually didn't really want to participate in the 2021 program. Sorry, Nadia, because it didn't really fit in with my schedule for summer break. But my dad, he motivated me to apply, which I did. We ended up winning in study. Then 2 years pass by, fellowship comes up, I apply, need study, we get accepted. 6 months pass by, we go to Jordan. 6 other months pass by, we're in San Antonio, and you never know where you end up. After that, it just keeps on building upon different opportunities. So if you find any chance, just go for any opportunity, just take it. You never know where you end up.
I would say pretty much the same thing as Mohammed. Go for it. I would say like it's a very wonderful opportunity to meet people that you will probably never meet unless you do it at that moment. But always do it with like a respect and like cultural empathy and understanding that there might be like misunderstandings, and it's just up to both of y'all to like understand each other's cultures better and understand each other, so that you can really build like a true friendship.
Thank you guys for answering our questions, and
You're welcome.
can we please get a round of applause for the
Thank you,
panelists?
We will now open up the floor to a few questions for about 5 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time.
Since you guys really like downtown Jordan, or downtown Amman, did you get to go have kanafe at the BB's? It's the best in the world.
We did not go, but there was someone who came and made kanaka in front of us. Like,
Ah.
so we got a show, like we got to see how it was made, and it's really amazing.
I was really bummed because they brought the knafa to us, and sadly that day and for the rest of the Jordan trip, my stomach was sort of in knots. I didn't get to try the knafa, even though I really, really loved